Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am here to review Love After Lockup. This is episode 41. It's called Sex Dolls and Booty Calls. We have a lot of couples to get through, so let's jump on into it. Let's start with Brittany and Ray because not really too much happened. Where we last left off, she was at the halfway house, Brittany, there to pick up Ray so she could take him back to her place where he will be on home confinement. And up rolls grandma. Brittany's not sure if she was invited, if Ray's aware, she's confused. Grandma tells the camera that, she doesn't need any invitation. She can do what she wants. If she wants to be there, she can be there. That is her baby. That is her grandson. And she doesn't really know this woman, Brittany. She's just some chick he met on the internet. And she's still baffled as to why, Brittany, who is beautiful, well-established, owns a house, comes from a good family, like, what does she want with a prison inmate convict? I mean, we all are kind of wondering, but... So, but Brittany's respectful, goes up to her like, hey, hi, like, what are you doing here? Does Ray know you're here? And grandma's like, no, but, I just wanted to surprise him. And out walks Ray. Brittany runs to him. She gives him a hug. He sees his grandma. He gives grandma a hug. They're all happy. And grandma just wanted to be there. She just wanted to be there for him, which is nice. Like, sounds like he's got quite the loving family behind him, So grandma's like, okay, I guess you guys want to be alone. So I'll let you two be, have fun, call me later, bye. And so, yeah, he leaves with Brittany. She takes him back to her house, shows him around. It's really nice. She takes him to the bedroom. He's happy to be there, but he's a little nervous. He's been locked up for a while, so he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm really hungry, and she's like, oh, okay, well, let me cook you breakfast, because it is still early. She left really like at 5 a.m. He must have got out, I don't know, at 8. I don't know. She makes him breakfast, some strawberries, some eggs, some bacon. He enjoys it, and she just cannot wait to get him into the room to do what it do. And, once she's fed him, she's like, all right, let's move it on out. And he's like, all right, let's do it. So that's kind of all that happens. They go to the bedroom, they shut the door. I suppose they got it on. So we'll pick up with them later. She still has to break the news to Ray that her family is not too thrilled about him being with her. I mean, that they're not even aware that they're living together. So we'll get into all that soon, I suppose. Let's move on. Courtney and Josh. Josh has been out now for about 10 days, and he's turned into a couch potato and basically plays video games all day long, much to Courtney's annoyance. She walks into the living room, he's on playing video games, and she asks him, like, is that all you're gonna do today? Like, you could be doing that in prison. Like, get up, do something. And he's just kind of like, I guess I can't blame him. He's free to do whatever he wants to do, but also let's not forget, they're only quarantining together for about 12 to 14 days. I'm not sure how many days, 12 to 14, and then he's got to go stay with the cousin. So she's kind of annoyed that this is how they're spending, their time together. She says that they're kind of going through a rocky patch, but that does not stop her from going down to the wedding dress shop to try on wedding dresses, because, damn it, she wants that wedding still. Her friend shows up to, help her pick out the dress and, kind of just be a sounding board for Courtney. And, Courtney just basically fills her in that, she just expected things would be different. She expected more out of him. She lost her job. She went to jail. She's on probation. And we even get this sort of segment in between the commercials where she's talking about, what it was like to be a prison warden, lieutenant, how she would do the room checks and how she would do it this way because it was better than doing it that way. Like, you can tell she clearly took a lot of pride in what she did, and she gave that all up for him. To be living in her house playing video games all day, yeah, I'd be annoyed. I would expect a lot more. And, he was gonna go out and get a job landscaping. Like, what's going on with all of that? I mean, again, I can understand he wants to do whatever he wants to do, but I think, you kind of promised her a lot, and he's not really showing up for that. Not just that, but she also mentions to her friend that, she is somebody who needs like a lot of affection. I suppose maybe one of her love languages is, physical touch, and she ain't getting a lot of it. Her friend asks, have you guys had sex? And she's like, yeah, we've had sex like twice, and he's been there for 10 days. So, I mean, maybe that's average. I don't know, maybe not. I mean, everybody's different, but again, she was expecting a lot more. But like I said, that does not stop her from still thinking about a wedding, planning a wedding, buying a wedding dress. You know, I think because it's one of those situations where it's like you've given up so much, you're going to do anything to make it work because you've already lost everything anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would say, yeah, it'd probably be too soon to throw in the towel, but I hope she doesn't just like, you know, make excuses and settle for less than what she wants just because she's already given up a lot, which she has. I mean, it would be hard to let go. And she just thinks, you know, every couple has ups and downs. She's definitely going to need him to step up more. So she's just going to be hopeful, I guess. I don't know. I mean, but then again, what did she expect? I mean, I'm all over the place on this. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, what did she expect? Well, she expected a lot more. But should she have expected a lot more? Like, you're getting a recently released convict who just wants to do whatever he wants to do. He doesn't want to have to come out and, you know, maybe adhere to your rules. Although she's not really giving him rules. She's just kind of telling him to get up and get a job. I don't know. I'm rambling. You know what I mean? But anyway, I think he's going to propose, throw a ring in a jar of pickles. I think that's what I saw. But anyway, let's move on. That's it for them. Really nothing much. I mean, like I said, it is what it is. Dumb. Anissa and Jeff. Now it is Anissa's turn to pick up Jeff from his halfway house so that she can bring him home to her trailer where they can live happily ever after. And so she does just that. She picks him up. They embrace. She seems to be very much into him. He seems to be into her enough. You know, they're driving home and she's just going on and on about the wedding and the flowers she wants to get and this and that, and he couldn't be less interested. Like, oh, okay, all right, you know. But he tells her, you know, by the way though, we have to get permission from the BOP to get married. I don't know what the BOP stands for. I should have looked that up. I don't know. And so basically they need to get permission from somebody so that they can get married. And Anissa's like, really? And he's just like, yeah, like, yeah, no big deal. I think because he doesn't really care whether they get married or not. He probably preferred that they don't. He's just whatever, you know. They get to her trailer, you know, her empire, and he says it's really nice. You know, the first thing he says when he walks in the door is, you got food in the fridge? And she's like, yeah, baby, yeah. You know, she shows him around. They're sitting on the couch, you know, they're looking at his like ankle bracelet and how he has to plug it in. And she's just so antsy. Like, she is just, you know, well, she's been waiting a long time. She's been waiting a long time and she can't wait a minute longer. And she tells him as much, like, I just can't wait another minute. I need to get you into that bedroom. And he's like, all right, let's do it. And he tells the camera that he's really looking forward to their sexual encounter. Something about that term, sexual encounter, it just sounds very like clinical, textbook. Not like I can't wait to be with my woman. I can't wait to make love to her. I can't wait to be with her. No, it's just very like sexual encounter. It's just very like, there's no, to me, it's just like, it's like an act. It's like, I can't wait to brush my hair. I can't wait to, you know, make my bed. I can't wait to have this sexual encounter. Like, there's no feeling to it. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but you know, they go to the bedroom, they put like a blanket over the camera, and I guess it was good because we wake up with them the next morning, you know, just canoodling, basking in the afterglow. You know, she had a good time, he had a good time. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, when they were walking to the bedroom, you know, he's telling the camera, we get the voiceover that, you know, he hasn't been with a woman, you know, in like 3 years or something. But that he has like 5 other girlfriends that he met while he was in prison, that he still keeps in contact with, that of course Anissa has no idea about and doesn't need to know about. So, I mean, is he a player? I mean, I don't know, you know. So like I said, they wake up the next morning, he's hungry, she's like, let me make you breakfast. He goes outside, you know, to kind of just hang out. She has like a little table and chair set up out there, and he gets a phone call from, I guess, one of his girlfriends, Christine, he says, who is his first love, who reached out to him right before he was about to be released. Or actually, no, I think she reached out to him while he was in the halfway house. Either he was in the halfway house or about to be released. Either way, she wants to meet up with him when he's out and free, and, you know, I get the sense that he'd like to. But of course, again, Anissa has no idea and doesn't need to know, and, you know, player Jeff, who knew? Meanwhile, Kyle, Anissa's friend, lives like on the same lot or a little way down the street. So he comes walking up to kind of check up on them, probably check up on Anissa. And he sees Jeff like, hey, what's up? How are you? How are you doing? And Jeff's like, I'm good. We learned that Kyle himself has been incarcerated at one point. So he gets how all this works and how these men can be. And, you know, he's just being a good friend looking out for Anissa. And he asks him, like, you know, I know that, you know, you guys have been dating now for like 11 years or whatever, and you've, you know, kind of stood her up a few times. Like, what makes this time different? Like, why show up now? Why be here now? And Jeff just says, well, you know, last time, like when he was released, he went right back to the streets to do drugs. You know, it really wasn't about Anissa personally. It was just like, you know, he was a drug addict. And this time, though, he loves her. He's fallen in love with her, and he wants to be with her. And Kyle's like, okay, well, you know, just do right by her. Because, like, this chance and this opportunity that you're getting, a lot of men getting out of prison don't get this kind of, you know, chance. So, you know, basically don't fuck it up. And Jeff's like, oh, yeah, no, I know, you know. Jeff, you know, says he's going to keep Kyle close. You know, like, keep your enemies close. No, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. You guys, I'm so tired. I had such a long day at work. I'm sorry if this video is all over the place. Anyway, Jeff's gonna keep Kyle close. And why he sees Kyle as an enemy, I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't know if it's just like an ego male thing, you know, because it's another man around your woman, but you've got like 5 other women. I don't know. I don't even really care anymore. I'm tired. I'm tired. But Jeff's like, well, Kyle, you know, since you're here, I'm going to wrap this up. He's like, Kyle, since you're here, there's something I want to share with you, something kind of private that Anissa doesn't know, and I kind of want your advice on, like, how to proceed, you know, since you know her well. And Kyle's like, okay, like, what's going on? And that's where it ends. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't care. It's because I don't really care. Anissa's an idiot. He's a user. I mean, ugh. Why? Why do these women do this? Why is Anissa doing this? Why is Courtney doing this? Why is Brittany doing this? Like, I mean, well, Ray seems to be a good enough guy, you know. I mean, why? Is it because we're desperate? Not me, not we. Are they so desperate? Like, I get it. I'm single. I get lonely sometimes, you know, but never that lonely. Never. Okay, I'm gonna end it there. We'll see what Jeff's big secret is. I think he's just gonna tell Kyle, like, I want to meet up with my old flame Christine. How do I do that? Do you think Anissa's gonna be mad? Yes, of course she's gonna be mad. She wants to marry you and live happily ever after. And you know, speaking of Anissa, like, she's like the self-proclaimed cougar who likes the young, ripped, handsome, like Jeff. I think I'm gonna have to re-record this. It's too messy. I'm a mess. All right. Moving on. Trying to remember all this in my head, and I'm tired. It's no excuse, though. I know. Okay, so let's talk about Deontay and Nicole. So Nicole says that she's been out for a week, and she has spent every waking moment with Deontay, but she's still not ready to be with him intimately. Fine. But what she is ready to do is meet his mother. I mean, Deontay's met her mom, so, you know, it's only fair. So she goes over to Deontay's apartment so they can cook dinner because the mom's going to come over. And while they're cooking, she says, she hands Deontay a brochure for breast augmentation, you know, a boob job. And he's kind of like, oh, you're serious? And she's like, yeah, it's only like $6,000, which is like a total deal. I mean, I thought it was gonna be like $8,000. Like, I will say $6,000, knowing I have a few friends who've had breast augmentation here in Los Angeles. And that, I mean, that's very cheap. It's very, very cheap. It's almost concerningly cheap, if you ask me. You know, it's sort of that old adage, you get what you pay for. But anyway, he's like, well, you know, $6,000 is still a lot of money. Like, am I not supposed to pay my rent? And she's like, you know, you're annoying me. Like, it's not fair. Like, I told you I wanted them, and you said you would buy them, and now you're taking it back. Well, Nicole, you said you wanted that slow grind, and you're taking that back. So maybe he's annoyed. Now, I'm not saying she should do that. I'm just saying, that's all I'm saying. Like, you know, you've taken some things back too, and that's your prerogative. And if he wants to take back buying you a boob job, that's his prerogative. Like, you're not there for the money, right? You'd love him anyway, remember? Anyway, as they're cooking dinner, she remembers, oh my gosh, I forgot, it's my friend Tia's birthday. I need to call her. And Deontay asks her, like, Tia, like your ex-girlfriend Tia, that you like hooked up with in prison. She's like, oh yeah, it's a long time ago. And she just walks away. She doesn't care. Goes into his room, calls Tia on the phone, kind of shuts the door, but not like all the way, so Deontay can kind of hear her conversation. And she just calls Tia and says, oh, you know, yeah, how are you? Happy birthday. I'm sorry, I forgot, whatever. Oh, I'm at Deontay's house. Like, his mom's coming over. We're cooking dinner. Like, come pick me up. Like, I don't want to be here. Deontay hears that, and he's like, what? What is she? What? You know? And then she's snooping around in his room, I don't know why, and finds the torso under his bed in the pillowcase. And she's just... oh my gosh, like what is, oh my, this is so disgusting. Oh my goodness, he has a sex toy. Now this is too much for Deontay. He goes into the room like, what, get off the, you know, because he's, you know, she's in his house on the phone that he pays for, talking to her ex-girlfriend, going through his sex toys that he's using because she won't give him any, you know, the audacity. And he's just like, she, you know, hangs up the phone and is just like, this is so gross. Like, why do you have this? And he's just like, well, what do you expect? Like, I'm trying to be faithful to you. You're not giving me any. Like, what do you want? Like, and I can hear you talking. You're being disrespectful. You know, you're making fun of me in my house on the phone that I pay for. And he's rightfully upset, and she does the Jedi mind trick on him and says like, oh, I don't want to fight. Like, your mom's coming over. Like, let's not fight, okay? And he's just like, all right, let's not. Like, let's have a good night. Come on. Like diffused so fast. I don't care. I don't care. Like, it's exhausting. This show's exhausting. I'm exhausted. Anyway, they go back to the kitchen. They finish making dinner. Mama shows up, okay? Mama ain't here for the shit. You know, before she walks in, she tells the camera, like, yeah, been here before. You know, it's your basic big boob, blonde, stripper type white girl that my son seems to just have an affinity for all the time. So let's get this over with. Mama goes in, meets Nicole. They sit down. You know, Nicole goes into her spiel about, you know, I can understand what you're probably thinking. You know, I can probably guess, you know, because I was in prison, but I love your son. You've raised a gentleman. Like, you can be proud of him. And Mama's like, okay, thank you. You know, I'm very overprotective of him, just so you know. And then Deontay jumps in with, well, you know, Mom, I just want you to know, like, I love this woman right here. She's going to be my future wife, the mother of your grandchildren, and if you can't accept her, then you can't accept me. Like, if you can't love her, then you might as well not love me. And Mama's like, excuse me? Like, who are you talking to? Like, I don't think so. Like, I can feel however I want to feel, you know? Like, I'm wary of, you know, the past and what you've been through, like, been here before. And Nicole jumps in with, you know, I get it, but it's not really fair always comparing me to Chelsea, which is Deontay's ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance, same deal, prison, blonde, user, you know. And Nicole's like, you know, I'm really nothing like her. I mean, compared to like what Chelsea used him for, like all the money she took, like I'm nowhere near that. Well, you're getting close, you know. And the mom's like, well, I mean, you say you love him and he's a gentleman, but you still haven't like been with him? I mean, sitting at a dinner table with my mother and my boyfriend, I could never, like, we're gonna sit here and talk, never. It's never, not your business, Mama, but, you know, Deontay's making it everybody's business. And so, you know, the mom's just like, you know, I don't really get it. You've been in prison how long? And, you know, I don't care what anybody says. Like, women love sex just as much as men do. And you say you love this man, he's your boyfriend, and you still haven't been with him? Like, I don't get it. Like, make it make sense. And now Deontay's kind of like, well, yeah, you know, kind of, she has a point. You know, speaking of Chelsea, is kind of the same thing. Like, you know, she was all lovey-dovey when she was in prison, you know, prison talk. And when she got out, like, all she wanted was my money and to use me, but, like, wouldn't be with me, like, wouldn't sleep with me. And it's like, well, Deontay clearly hasn't learned from past mistakes, lessons, experiences. And, you know, Nicole's just says, well, you know, I'm just not ready. Like, I mentally, you know, I've been in prison. I have issues with being close. And Mom's like, no, you don't have no issues with having sex. You have an issue having sex with my son. But I'm keeping an eye on you, you know. And that was pretty much dinner. That's pretty much it. That's all they showed. And then they show Deontay taking Nicole home. And it was kind of a rough dinner, but they got through it. You know, Nicole did it because she loves Deontay. She just wanted to prove that she loves him, so she sat through dinner with mom. They pull up to her house. It's late. You know, she's like, I'm just gonna, you don't have to walk me to the door. The house is asleep. I don't want to wake anybody up, so I'm just, let me out here and I'll call you tomorrow. She gives him a kiss goodbye. And she, you know, he kind of pulls away slowly and notices that she just like sits on like the porch, like bench. And that's odd. She never does that. So he's, you know, his intuition's telling him just to kind of hang out a little bit. So he kind of pulls down the street, turns off his lights, and kind of just hanging out because he could see her like texting on her phone. And a few minutes later, but you know what happens? Somebody pulls up. She gets into the car. Dante's like, hell no, pulls up next to them, jumps out of his car, just like, what the hell, Nicole? Who's this? What's going on? And that's where we end it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I guess we'll see what happens next week. I'm sorry. I just don't care. Stan and Lisa, they still crack me up, this couple. So, I mean, things just turn on a dime for them every single time. So they're driving home. They left the restaurant. He just wants to like get her home and just cuddle with her and make love to her because he loves her, you know. She's stressed out, you know. She's trying to tell him her life's a mess. You know, she's got this issue with her son, and he just like doesn't really, you know, he just doesn't really want to hear it, you know. He just wants to, you know, get home and be together. But she tells him, you know, things are so chaotic right now, maybe it's best if she gets her own place. And he doesn't like that idea. He tells her, like, no, I want you to stay with me. And then she also tells him, oh, also, like, I think we need to get me a car. Like, I want you to take me to the lot so we can buy me a car. And he doesn't think that's a good idea either, which I can't argue with him on this one. She doesn't have a license. And he tells her, like, you know, if you get a car and you get pulled over, you don't have a license, like, you'll get in trouble. Like, I don't want to be the one that gets you in trouble by, you know, like, sort of not like, you know, that's what I'm looking for, not supporting, but, you know, enabling you like in these bad behaviors. And she's like, I'll take my chances. Like, I don't have a license. I know that. I don't care. Like, I'll be fine. You promised me, like when I was in prison, you promised you'd give me $5,000 so I can go get a car. And he's telling the camera, he's just so surprised. She's being so demanding, you know, she never used to be this way. And need I remind you, Stan, you met her on Seeking Arrangements. This was the arrangement. You would get her own place, get her own car, give her some money, and she would hang out with you in your, you know, sex dungeon basement. That's the arrangement, okay? So as they're talking about all this, they get pulled over, okay? This just stresses Lisa out even more. Her anxiety is through the damn roof, you know? She can't have her name run by the police because she, you know, she'll likely get like arrested and sent back to prison. And he's just like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine, like it's no big deal. You know, he's not concerned with her feelings, her stress, nothing. You know, I think he ran a red light, you know, the cop runs his name and lets him off with the warning, you know, because he's an old white guy. That's how it goes for them. And, you know, he's just like, see, the cop was a nice guy. It's fine, you know, I don't have a record. Like, I'm not going to get in trouble. And Lisa tells him, oh, well, that must be nice. Good for you, you know. And he's just like, let's get home, you know. They pull up to the house and he's like, come on, let's get inside, let's cuddle. And she's like, no, I don't want to cuddle. Like, I want to talk first. That is not, again, what he wants to hear. And like I said, in an instant, it's like the switch flips and he's just like, you know, well, what did you come here for? And she's like, you're pissing me off. He's like, well, then go home, like leave. Like, at least I have a car. He takes these like low blows all the time at her. I'm just like, what happened? Like, is that editing? Like, what? They got out of the car. He said he wanted to cuddle. She said she wanted to talk. She said, you're pissing me off. I think because he's like pressuring her. And then he said, okay, then go leave. Get the hell out of here. He starts like grabbing her stuff, I guess, that she left behind. He's like throwing it on the porch, like kicking her out. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? Like, what's going on? You know, and he's just like, you know, get out of here. Like, I'm done with you. Like, and he's not even drinking. Like, this is just who Stan is. Like, he wants, you know what he needs a torso. You know, doesn't talk, doesn't have emotions, doesn't have feelings, doesn't have a life. Is just there to solely pleasure you. That's what he needs. Send him a torso, Deontay. So he throws her shit out on the porch, slams the door. She's confused. and tells the producers, like, I better get the hell out of here, because he's just trying to accuse me of, like, hit him and attack him. And again, all I need is a police car to show up, run my name, and then I am off to jail again. Like, no thank you. She's like walking down the street with her trash bags, like, you know, the 65-year-old loony old man, like, ladies, you can have him, he's free, he's all yours. We don't want him. Are they done? Are we done with them? Because they were fun. They were fun, but sad. Sad. Anyway, that's it for the review, you guys. I'm so tired. I shouldn't do this when I'm so tired. I just had such a long week. It's so busy at work. But I really want to stick to this and get them up. I need to work my schedule out better. So I'm so sorry. This is the real me. You're getting exhausted. Anyway, rate, comment, subscribe. I will do so much better next time, I promise. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.